So today I would like to share a perspective about love. Not to give, people speak about love, people try to understand what is love, who loves them, who doesn't love. The thing is that most of the people do not have reference point, because what we think of love is what the first experiences that we have in our life, which is the connection with our parents, this feeling of being held by someone, being basically it's warmth. So many people have ways they understand love depending on the first experiences they had about that sort of connection with another human. But the question arises from a spiritual standpoint, what love is. I contemplated about it, and I would like to share sort of a personal perspective. So, as I understand, love, true love, we're speaking about true love, is at this point of time, in this day and age, is still quite rare. Because even though we may experience it in glimpses, we tend to project it outwards. So, if we think that suffering about someone or expecting something from someone or constantly thinking about someone is love, it could be not that. So the love that I'm trying to speak about and raise awareness of is still quite rare. And it has to be, first of all, be experienced in oneself, because without your consciousness being aware of that frequency within itself, it's impossible to recognize it, understand, and even appreciate it in one's life. So the journey towards that frequency could be even called the spiritual journey or the journey towards enlightenment, because, or at least a certain sort of evolutionary path where we head towards that realization, and we cannot predict when we're going to experience it, and it may be invoked by other people, it may not, it may be just like you sit down or you're contemplating about something, and all of a sudden you experience this all-encompassing frequency within yourself that is contentment, that is wholesomeness. So if you will, we can call the frequency of love as that, as wholesomeness. And through this wholesomeness you gain also clarity. So if we think about enlightenment as being that absolute clarity, or as much clarity as we can experience in this day and age, depending on our personal ability and the depth of that awareness. So love is kind of that perception or that state of being when we're in the alignment, when we feel wholesome and complete. Now, what comes to human relationships, love is connection. So when people think that, okay, I can just love a person myself, they don't need to be next to me, whatever that is, the physical aspect is only one aspect, because true love is connection. It does not depend on other people's physical location. So it is connection. And it's like electricity. There is plus and there is minus, and electricity happens, right? So when there is this connection, there is love. If one withdraws, there is no connection. So whatever energy you invested into this personally, it will last for a while until it dissipates. Because connection means it's a constant contribution or exchange where there is constant investment. The moment one withdraws that energy from the connection, the other one feels left out. And so the other one will continue maybe investing as much as they can on their own, but usually it is, it is not sustainable. It will dissipate because the projection will dissolve, because it has not been nurtured from both sides. So when there is disconnection, there's no love. And so all these kind of one-sided, unrequited love scenarios are not real love, because love means energy investment and nurturing of that connection, but it's also soul connection. It's not just physical energy or emotional energy or mental. It's the highest. So when people invest, because they recognize this, the souls recognize each other, there's instant electricity, instant connection, which is called love. People may try to run away from this. They may try to, explain it somehow. When there is love, there's no explanation, because logic fails. Even if people try to run away from it, try to kind of hide away, maybe there are certain conditions where they think that it's impossible to support this. Whatever it is, logic, conditions, they will fail before this higher frequency of the soul. And sooner or later, this connection, if it's really based on that soul recognition and the support of higher frequency, they will choose to continue to have that connection. Of course, sometimes people may choose otherwise, but when there is true love, a true soul connection, it's difficult to deny it, but it is also possible. That's where we all have free will. So when people say that I choose love because of logic, because of explanation, because of comfort and convenience, all that is not love. All that is calculation. And most of the people are in this kind of scenarios in relationship because in this lifetime, they have not recognized that higher frequency within themselves. So they cannot manifest that in the external reality. It's not their time. Very rarely we can experience or we can witness true love, because in this day and age it's still quite rare. And so most of the people trauma bond. They marry their traumas, they trauma bond, they resort to manipulation, to attracting whatever random people because they feel lonely, because they need someone to fulfill them. But all of that has nothing to do with true love relationship. And even if you just met someone randomly and decided to be with them, it doesn't mean that you share true love or connection, or you will ever do, because this kind of experience is of an evolutionary spiritual nature, and it's not that everyone is even destined to experience that, because one has to be enough evolved within themselves so that they can awaken to that level of awareness, to that higher frequency within themselves, so that they can actually manifest that experience and recognize it from the external reality, which means recognizing another soul and helping that soul to kind of get on the same level. Because sometimes people have that moment of recognition, but then their karmic baggage, their conditioning gets on the way, and so they need to spend some time dissolving these barriers. But again, if they hold on to the higher frequency, the frequency of love, unconditional, selfless being, they can dissolve all the obstacles and be in the physical union, supporting that higher frequency within themselves and working further on themselves, being on a spiritual journey, and at the same time sharing life together. Although it's quite a rare situation still in this day and age, but there are some souls which choose this journey, and it would mean that they would constantly need to cultivate that higher frequency and choose each other on and on, every day so that they can continue being in the world of lower frequency, emanating higher frequency. So thank you very much. I hope that it helped and motivated some people who are on this journey, some rare individuals who really prioritize love. Because when we prioritize higher frequency, all the other obstacles in the face of this higher frequency gradually dissolve, and the fulfillment that the soul experiences through this frequency, through true love and connection, cannot be compared with anything else in this world. And that's why when we choose higher frequency, when we choose true love, true connection, we actually pave the path to higher existence within ourselves and with the other, to true evolution and spiritual advancement. Thank you very much.